But if you've ever watched a boxer move, you know, they're so well balanced. He's a lot more relaxed than the rest of the guys, but the hand, shoulder high and forward. Can you feel your head wanting to go that way?
Yeah, now definitely.
Okay, because that elbow raised. So if I roll into the ramp and I got my hands like this, makes it really awkward to see you. But if I switch to a front-on stance, as I come around, it's really easy to see where I'm going. On today's explanation on the videos all around the pop-up, I want you to understand it's not so much about the pop-up as it is what you do after the pop-up. We're going to look at this beautiful footage. It was filmed in the wave pool by Brent Rose and everything was filmed in slow motion. So the pop-up's not about getting to your feet and standing on a surfboard. It's about getting to your feet and being able to move so that you can interact with the energy in the wave. So most people practice the pop-up and they drill it, but the end result of the pop-up is that they lock up. And this is not what I want for you. I want you to be able to get to your feet and start moving. Now, to understand this, we need to understand the energy in a wave. A wave is spiral energy, where water draws off the bottom and then it throws off the top. So water is sucking off the bottom and throwing off the top, so it's that spiral energy. When we move, it's important to know that we need to have our head balanced over our front foot. So if we're walking or if we're running, when we swing our right arm, it shifts our head over the left leg. And when we swing our left arm, it shifts our head over the right leg. The arm shift moves our head over the front foot, which is the balancing leg, which enables us to move. And it's called the spinal engine, where basically our hips kind of give us the ability to move. So you might ask, well, what has this got to do with surfing? And the big thing is that when we pop up, if your hands are left-right, you're going to find that you're popping up kind of center in balance. And it's almost like if you've ever watched a sumo wrestler try to walk, they're almost like, no, they kind of look like this. It looks really, really weird. The reason being is their head's centered and they're struggling to distribute the weight evenly. But if you've ever watched a boxer move, you know, they're so well balanced. So in surfing, it got me thinking, well, how could we be better balanced? So it brings me now to the videos of the pros when they surf. When they surf, they don't surf with the left foot, left hand forward, because that would be like us walking like crabs. What they do is they surfed left foot, right hand forward, and they're constantly squaring up the shoulders. All right? And that squaring up the shoulders enables better peripheral vision. And if they've got better peripheral vision, they're going to have better pattern recognition. And if they got better pattern recognition, they're going to anticipate what to do, when to do, and how to do it. Also, as humans, our bodies are designed to move forwards. They're not designed to move sideways. So you'll find that your regular pop-up will put you in a sideways, crabby position with limited perspective of what's going on, and it's certainly not going to help you move and interact with the wave. So today's episode is all about hand placement, hand gestures, and what your hands are doing. Most pop-ups put people in this left-right position and they almost try to steer like they're steering a boat, or they'll try to point their bums where they want to go and they can't see it. The thing I want to point out with Geordie is that this back arm, it almost spirals in a circle. And every time it goes into a circle, it puts more weight on the front foot. And it enables him to basically get a better peripheral vision, better balance, and better movement. So if you watch it unfolding here, okay, so can you see that this hand is actually spiraling when he surfs? So from behind him, it goes forwards, which gets him to square the shoulders. So you can see how the shoulders squared up. Then as he drops it, he compresses, and as he extends, he gets lift, and he pushes it forward, which is almost like throwing punches wherever he wants to go. Now, that there, when he drops, gets a nice compression, and you'll see when he compresses, his hips are forward, the knees are forward. So what happens is by bringing that hand around and down, he gets his body into a front-on position, which makes movement easy and effortless for Geordie. Whereas the surfers that are over here, this isn't easy to move. You're stuck. Your legs are going in different directions. You're more squatting than lunging. The reason why you lunge at the starting blocks of a race is to get acceleration. So Geordie's got his head over the front foot. You'll notice as the arm comes up and over that his shoulders are square to the board. So it's almost like he's riding a bicycle. So it doesn't matter if you're goofy foot or natural foot. If you're front on, you've still got your weight forward. You're still balancing and you can see everything. Now, that hand positioning over there of Geordie's, this is nice and relaxed and he's about to come down. But if you've ever had your hand out the car window, if you just initiate that, the wind will blow the hand up. And if you point down, the wind will blow your hand down. And likewise with the turning left and the turning right, all you have to do is initiate the movement and the wind will do the rest. So that's aerodynamic. But pretty much in the water, if you're surfing along and you tilt your hand sideways, that tilt is the equivalent of driving and picking your hand up, which will, because I'm a natural footer, it will put my head over my heel, which will make me turn that way. And if I bottom turn and I have my hand that way, it will put me on my toe wedge, the same way that this happens and this happens. Well, that's front foot, that's back foot, that's acceleration with turning. So my point being here is that the small little hand gestures that the pros are using have a big impact on how they surf a wave. And this movement that they're doing is a circular movement. So what we'll do is we'll break down some really fast surfers. We're going to break down Felipe Toledo. We'll also break down John Florence, because a lot of people go, oh, John doesn't use his hands. Well, he uses them a lot. And I want to compare 11 times world champion Kelly Slater to John to Toledo, and what I want to see is there a pattern around what they're doing with their arms? Now, if you've done a pop-up, there's a very good chance you're not going to be able to access the patterns that the pros are doing. But if you've been able to effortlessly walk up into a beautiful stance, you're going to find that these movements that the pros are doing are really, really easy to basically copy and paste. All right, so here's Kelly Slater. Now bear in mind, we're looking at what his hands do, especially the back arm. I'm not so interested in the front arm. So he paddles into the wave. He's got time, he's riding down. Now watch the back arm. Up, over, head high. He drops it down, up, over, and he squared his shoulders up. Let's look at John Florence. So he takes off on a wave, he drops the arms low, shoulder high and forward, up, over, and front. Did you see that circle pattern? Hands low. Carissa Moore takes off. She's got time to drop into the wave, so the hands are low. It goes down, up, over, and you see that circle pattern from the arm. Shoulder high, up, over. Okay, so Parko's is amazing. I really do like his as well. So let's look at the pattern recognition. So he stands up, drops in, the back arm, up, over, shoulder high. Helps fix his posture, helps with the extension. Notice the circular motion of the arms. Steph Gilmore, multiple world champion, back arm up, squaring the shoulders, forward. Shoulder up, extension and forward. So you see that circular motion. Andino is another great small wave surfer. Really light on his feet. So let's try to ascertain if there's a similar pattern with him. So he takes off, he goes down the wave, creates lift from the back arm, picks it up. Silvana Lima takes off, watch the arms, raises the shoulder, up and forward, down, around, up and forward. So you can see that pattern recognition. Felipe Toledo takes off on a wave. He's a lot more relaxed than the rest of the guys, but the hand, shoulder high and forward, and swings it up and over. What I want to do is, I know this is a pop-up video, but it's what happens after the pop-up. So I want to show you the importance of your hand. So Jack, do me a favor. I want you to stand about hip width apart, stick your arms out, and I want you to lock your arms. So don't allow me to move them, okay?
Okay.
Now, I'm going to move your toes off the ground.
Okay.
Okay. So if I just bend your fingers back, right? See how your toes lift off?
Yeah.
Right. Now, I'm going to lift your heels off the ground.
Okay.
So if I come forward and bend your fingers down, your heels won't lift off.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can relax.
Okay.
So, I did not purposely try to move your feet, but could you see how your energy traveled through your body?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were standing on a surfboard, I made you go rail to rail.
Just with hands.
Just with your hands.
Huh.
Aha.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, if you were side on, okay, great. Now, can you feel anything? Doesn't work.
Well, you moved my hand, but it doesn't go to my lower body.
Okay, so it only works when you're front on. Okay, so now come to your front on position. Keep that hand there. Don't worry about the front one. Let's just move the back one.
Okay.
Okay, now, if you were driving a car, all right, and you wanted to turn to the right, you'd do this. If you're riding a bicycle, same thing, and if you're an airplane, same thing. So turning, doesn't matter whether it's a car, airplane, bicycle, it's the same thing. Okay, so if I just took this finger and I tilted it, can you feel your head wanting to go that way?
Yeah, now, definitely.
Okay, because that elbow raised.
Right.
Okay, so simply go like getting your hand like out the car window to turn. So by setting an intention, right, this followed.
Yeah.
Okay, now if that's the up, surely the down, which is there, would do that.
Go the other way. Okay, yeah.
You can feel that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we've got then is that if you're in a front-on position, and if you just did this, you could match the angle of the wave. And when you bottom turned, if you did this, you can match the angle of the bottom turn that you need.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So if you want to do a steeper bottom turn, you'll
Yeah.
just drop that more if it's just a little thing. Little one. Okay.
Okay. Now, stand side on. All right. Most people surf with their right arm forward. Now, if I do this to you, does it work?
No.
No, there's no connection to the body. It's disconnected. Because we work in a front-on position, we don't work in a side-on position. So, thank you, Jack.
Welcome.
So my point being is that when you pop up and you've got this whole side-on thing, no matter what you do and how you manipulate your body, it doesn't travel through the board. But when you square up into a front-on position, which is what the pros are doing, squaring up, getting their weight forward, you're finding that all the incremental little adjustments, the small things, start to matter. Whereas when you side on, you're having to do big things, and they're very ineffective, and they don't look great. They make your style look crap. When we're moving If we move like a circle, in other words, there's smooth movement, it means there's harmonious flow. So when the pros are moving the arms, they're kind of moving the knees at the same time. What you don't want to do when you compress and extend is jerk around, because you're not moving smoothly. So a wave is a circle that's been propagated through water. So you need to start to move like a circle inside of the circle. And when you tap into that, when the water lifts up, if you lift up, you're going to get twice as much lift. And when the water throws down, if you compress, you're going to get twice as much speed, which means that you probably need to put in half the amount of effort. All right? So therefore, when the pros move, they make it look easy because they're tapping into the natural lift and the natural compression of the wave's speed and power. And when they learn how to flow with that, they get speed, power, and flow. So what we're going to do, we're going to take it into the bowl, and we're going to show you how we start to teach this to our surfers. The problem that a surfer faces when they're doing the pop-up is that if they go straight on the wave, there's almost no time to paddle into the wave, make the drop, get to their feet, and then to turn, bank, and try to chase that wave. Because as the ball rolls in, you've got about 1 second. So they come away thinking, I need to get stronger, fitter, paddle harder, and I need to pop up faster. But when they start doing that and they start to realize, well, it's still not working, then they're like, all right, now I need more volume because I need to get into the board, into the wave earlier. And they start to make a whole bunch of problems. Whereas what the pros do is something slightly different. They make sure that they've got the right angle into the wave. So they make sure that their line is better. They arch their backs, then create lift, and they create space. And when they take off at an angle, they got 1, 2, 3. So because they're taking a smarter line, they've got 3 times more time to actually get into right posture. They've also got the wave to drop into to get their speed. And this way, they can start to articulate and start to read the patterns as to where am I going to bottom turn, how fast do I need to move, where am I compressing, where am I extending. So they're using that time well to study the wave, as opposed to people that are freaking out because they know that they're time poor, and then they're having to rush, and they're trying to find any means possible to fix their pop-up by getting more volume, taking off on the shoulder, paddling more, and they're causing stress and anxiety, where the pros are relaxing into the wave. So if I roll into the ramp and I got my hands like this, makes it really awkward to see you. But if I switch to a front-on stance, as I come around, it's really easy to see where I'm going. So being able to see is half the battle, because if you can see and you can anticipate, you'll know what to do, where to do, and how to do. So simply squaring up of the shoulders, you can understand why the pros are looking so much more relaxed, because they're processing information faster than someone that can't see it. So your pop-up is vital to get you into a front-on stance so that you can process information quicker. If my arms are left to right, you're going to see how it affects my knees and my compression extension. Whereas when I circle my arms forward and I square up, you're going to see how much more speed I develop by having my knees orientated forwards rather than sideways. So most people pop up and they're locked in this position here. And then when I compress and extend, it doesn't look great. But if I orientate forwards, can you see how much more speed and control? So when you have that knee forward, you have a lot more head, shoulder, hip, knee over the front foot, which means that on the compressions you're a lot heavier, but you're also going straighter, which means on the extensions you're a lot lighter. And the point of difference is that the pros are doing less and getting more done. If you've got a bad pop-up, you're going to be doing a lot and getting less done. If I had a cup of water, it's really hard to control, and I'd never walk around with the cup out here. I've learned to hold it closer to my body. And even in boxing, you're going to want to throw a punch, but then reset. So you kind of want to surf a wave where your arms are in a position where you can throw your energy forward. So when I roll into the ramp, I'm going to have my locus of control closer to my body, where I've got more power. And then if I want extension to go up and forward, I'll go up, forward, and then I'll reset closer to my body again. So have a look at what this looks like. So I'll roll in, closer to my body. There's the up, and there's up, forward, up, forward, up, forward. And you can see in almost zero time, the up propels me higher up the wave face, which gives me more speed. And then the forward gives me more compression over the front foot, which makes me heavier on the down, which you see John doing so well. But some people only see John with no arms. They don't see the actual uplift and the circling that he's doing with the arms. So it's really important that you recognize the pattern which the pros are using, which extends from when you stand up. If you are able to see video footage of yourself surfing, you might recognize some stress and tension by having arms that are really straight and movement that isn't flowing but almost like locked up. If you feel that you're one of these surfers, come and join an Ombi retreat or come to the Ombi facility, and we can potentially help try to loosen and get rid of some of that stress so that your surfing looks more flowing and that your style improves.